Yo, Laurent.
Yo, what's going on?
Yeah, we're here. Feels a little feels a little weird.
Yeah, no, no.
Um, episode 30. Yeah, we'll just kind of get into it. Diogo Jota, the news came out today. We're recording this on July 3rd, Thursday, so you'll be hearing this on the Friday. Him and his brother passed away in a car crash in Spain. Um, First and foremost, rest in peace and condolences to his family. I believe he was married. Jota was married, and he had a little baby boy, if I'm not mistaken. 28 years old. Like, kind of puts it into perspective because we're 2 years older, and like this guy, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little chilling. When I got that news, my cousin messaged me, and I looked it up. I was like, oh my God. It instantly reminded me of when Kobe Bryant
Mm,
passed away in the helicopter crash, and I didn't believe it at first. I was like, "This, what? No!" And then you just start going through the news outlets, and you're like, "Oh my God, yeah." I don't know what's your guys' thoughts because like it kind of feels a little wrong what we're doing right now, but also we want to give him his spotlight and just kind of talk about the situation.
yeah, no. I think yeah, it's a good opportunity to really commemorate him, right? I mean, I'm sure he meant a lot to a lot of people, right? Yeah, apparently he got married 2 weeks ago too, from what I've heard, right? So it's quite recent. It's a guy who had his whole life ahead of him. Was truly on a high, right? Accomplishments, all of that, and it gets taken from you, right? Suddenly. So yeah, it's a terrible situation and a loss for everyone involved, right? His family, his teammates, the footballing world. Um, yeah. So rest in peace to him and his brother for real.
Yeah, and just touching on that myself too, I think, yeah, obviously we were all shocked this morning when we woke up. Uh, to be honest, actually, you guys broke the news for me. Like, I first saw it in the group chat when I woke up. I saw your guys' message, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, um, yeah, really not much to be said. I just, yeah, I don't know. I saw our group chat and then hop on Instagram real quick, and then it's all over, because for who first broke the news, I don't know if it was you, Laurent, or Murdad. I was half asleep at that time of the morning, but literally all that you said was, yeah, you guys heard the news, and it's like, what are you guys talking about, and all I had to do was go on Instagram to see exactly what was going on, and like, yeah, it's like say no more, nothing more needed to be said. Very little detail was dropped in the group chat, and I kind of understood why at that point. It's very sensitive. Yeah, puts things into perspective for all of us because yeah, I was in shock for real. Yeah, I mean, and obviously, like between the three of us, we all say that football is our lives, big part of our lives. Um, but nothing is bigger than life itself, and this was a case of, yeah, you only have football if you're healthy and if you're alive, right? And yeah, at 28 years old, that's like, we can kind of relate similarly because we all get around by car and things like that, and not to say that I know how it happened, but we're of a similar age, and it's like, yeah, like
Yeah.
20, 28, we're 2, 3 years older than that. So you feel like you can relate when you're relatively young, and you're like, shit, like you have your whole life ahead of you, like you said, in footballing terms. He's getting up there in age, right? He's 28 years old, so some would say he's getting close to the end of his footballing career, but then he has the whole rest of his life ahead of him after that.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, taken away from him at such a young age. Yeah, just recently got married, just recently won the Premier League, won the Nations League with his country. So he was riding a high, and then boom. So you can only
Hmm.
imagine what the family's going through. The parents having lost two kids, or two sons. The his wife, who's now widowed. It's a crazy situation. But yeah, as you said, Merdad, it almost feels weird, to even be recording today. Some would say, to be respectful. A lot of content creators aren't pushing out content really today, for that reason. But at the same time, for us, it's good that we get to talk about it and shed a light on the situation and talk about the severity of it, and just kind of bring forward the fact that we know that he deserves his spotlight from and all angles, and there's going to be ongoing things for him for months, until and into the new season. You're going to see clubs and content all about him and around him, and rightfully so, because he definitely left an impact on in the footballing world, and from
Huge.
what we hear, he was a really big family man as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, man, we want to try and keep the positivity up as much as we can, but today's definitely a difficult one for all of us. But yeah, we're gonna be here and we're gonna push through together as a footballing community.
And just from like a footballing standpoint, he loved playing against Arsenal.
Yeah.
He had Arsenal's number. 16 games in total. Um, 8 goals, 2 assists, 10 goal contributions in 16 games. I believe it was during the COVID season when CJ and I were messaging back and forth. The 1920 season when Arsenal was battling with Wolves, and when Liverpool signed Jota, I vividly recall texting CJ being like, "Yo, why didn't Arsenal go for him? He was such a versatile player for Wolves, and he would have done wonders for our attacking line." And um, he always popped up at the right moment. Whether he came off the bench, whether he played center forward, left wing, right, not obviously not right wing, but whenever he had those rotations with Salah, he always popped up at the right moment. Um, it's chilling. It's chilling to know that you know we're never gonna see him play again. Um,
Yeah. No, that's sorry to cut you off, but what you said there, right? Uh, never. Um, I think obviously, right, when someone passes away, that's the reality at hand, and I think a lot of times, right, when you go through your day-to-day life, we take that for granted, right? That life is it's that fragile, right? Anything can happen,
yeah,
and the people could, right, are just gone like that. So, I feel like, I hate to say it, but these when we hear these events, right, these have to be reminders to cherish every moment in life, and right, truly, right, to live in a way where if it's your day, right, okay, you have no regrets, and also if maybe it's someone that was close to you, right, at least you can say, okay, I've done it all, right, in terms of how I treated this person, right, I've made sure that right, I left no stones unturned, so that way you don't feel a sense of I could have done more, right,
yeah,
or I wish they were there so I could have said this, right, so yeah, no, because like you're saying, right, never, right, that I was on YouTube today and you seen a clip, his last career goal, right? You know what I'm saying? And you can just keep
yeah,
rewatching that, and that's the last one. So yeah, I just wanted to interject on that. But
yeah. Well, um, yeah. Rest in peace. I'm sure, like CJ said, a lot of the clubs are going to be doing memorials for Diogo Jota throughout the season, and I wouldn't be shocked if Liverpool wear like a badge the entire season to commemorate him and his brother. Um, so yeah, sorry we didn't intend to start the podcast on this type of note, but we thought that it was warranted to have this discussion, and um, yeah. But yeah, as always, joined by my co-host, my brothers, Laurent and CJ. Um, yeah, we can kind of get into the recent transfers for Arsenal finally. Um, Kepa's official. I believe that's our seventh signing from Chelsea. We're Chelsea's trash bin. We take their trash. But I will say Kepa, I do believe will be a good signing for us. He did wonders with Bournemouth, and there was a stat that I was seeing. His save percentage was 0.4 off of David Raya, so he has the capabilities of ensuring that we don't lose everything. And for 5 mil, perfect. We don't need to worry about it for a couple of years now.
How do you think his game time is going to be? How is the
Cup
manager going
games
to?
like FA Cup, Carabao Cup.
And do you think he's well? Obviously, I feel like he's not going to be happy, right? Because I feel like he's the type.
Well, he knew. He knew. Apparently, he knew. Apparently, some
Okay,
of the reporting that came out, he knew that he was going to come second fiddle to Raya, but he was willing to fight for his position and push Raya.
okay.
Um, there's a clear hierarchy, and if he gets all the cup games, it's still a decent amount of games because the expectation or the bare minimum, correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, the bare minimum is for us to get at least to like the quarters or semis in both competitions, at least quarters. So that's a lot of games. At a bare minimum, like there's no excuses. We should get to quarterfinals of Carabao Cup and FA Cup. Like it's year what? Year 1700 of phase 55,000. Like you always joke along. Like building's getting pretty tall,
Mm.
right? So, CJ, do you want to add anything
No,
to?
I think as far as backup goalkeepers go, that's a pretty good backup goalkeeper. He was number one at Bournemouth last season, had an outstanding season, and he's an experienced guy. I think he was at, Madrid.
Yep.
He's been with the national team, so he's pretty experienced by now. It's crazy because I still remember him coming in as a young keeper and breaking the record for the most expensive goalkeeper signing when Chelsea first got him. So to think he's now what is he 30? Can you fact check that for me?
I'm pretty sure he's 30. Yeah.
I just remember him being a young.
Yep, he's
Yeah,
30.
he's
Oh,
30.
he's October 3rd. He's an October baby like me. Yeah, he's 30.
Yeah, man. So yeah, this guy was signed. He signed to Chelsea. When did he sign? 2018. 2018.
Yep. 75 mil, no?
Yeah, 75 mil. Can you imagine for a goalkeeper? And at the time, everyone was like, "What the hell? Like that's nonsense, Like for a goalkeeper, that's just where the market went." But yeah, so that's 7 years ago. So what? He was at 23, and it's like, yeah, to me, he still feels young because it still feels relatively fresh that signing, right? But he's 30 now, which is crazy. So yeah, but an experienced goalkeeper nonetheless. And yeah, as far as number twos go, that's a very good number two for us, to be honest. All jokes aside with the Chelsea trash bin stuff, it's a good number two goalkeeper. And I was actually kind of surprised he was willing to make the move because he strikes me and all of us who have our affiliations with him, Laurent, for you, obviously being a Chelsea guy, he strikes me as a character, right? A character with somebody with personality, somebody who's not going to sit there and want to take a bench role. So I don't think, whilst he knows, he's got to get David Raya out the number one spot, he's not going to come and sit there and accept the backup role. He's going to try and push. Where Neto last year knew what he was getting himself into. He knew he was number two. That's it. Kepa is going to try and push. Definitely. He's got the character and the personality. We'll never forget the famous cup final under Sarri. Maurizio
Ridiculous.
Sarri for Chelsea when the guy refused to come off the pitch.
No, no, I'm
You
not doing
know.
that.
Yeah,
So yeah, man.
y'all
Yeah.
better hope he doesn't push in those kind of moments.
Well, yeah. That's what
I
I was.
think
I
it's
was
a good
thinking.
thing though. I think for some of the players, like some of the players are getting too comfortable in their positions. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like they need some competition. They need some like you're not like we'll get to it. We'll get to some of the other players that we're looking at. Like you're you may be so and so on the team. You may be the first name on the game sheet, but like there's a guy behind you who's as hungry, if not hungrier. And some people need to feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I say this to Arteta as well. Like I think he's getting a little bit comfortable in his role, and he needs some players that are going to be more vocal because
Hmm.
we're getting to the point where something needs to change. Something has to change because we can't keep moving forward like this.
Yeah, and then the players definitely need to, he and all coaches do, by the way, but he likes a cohesive dressing room, all harmony and this and that. But sometimes, like we've talked about in the past, you need those characters to shake up things a little bit and not cause like unrest and dissettlement within the camp and stuff. But just a little bit of, yeah, like that character, like I'm gonna push you, David Raya, you better be on your toes because I'm coming for you type shit. So
Yeah.
we need more of that in other areas of the pitch. And yeah, like you said, we're gonna touch on that because if anything, players and coaching staff should all be traumatized from last season in terms of what happened with our injuries. So we
Yeah.
better make sure that we're sharp, too deep in every position.
Yeah. Zubimendi was apparently supposed to be announced today, but for obvious reasons, he wasn't announced. And I wouldn't be shocked if Arsenal hold off until the end of the week to announce it, just to give a few days for obvious reasons. But he's official, and apparently Nørgaard was supposed to be announced by the end of this week. But again, I wouldn't be shocked if he's announced next week, again, for obvious reasons. But coming to the meat of our transfers. Recently, there's been a lot of news. I think we teased on this last week and the week before that Eberechi Eze is one of our targets. And from the looks of it, it looks like Berta wants Eze and a left winger and Gyökeres. It's not that he would take, I think last podcast I was alluding to the fact that I would take Eze as a left winger, but it's from the sounds of it is that he wants Eze on top of a left winger and a striker, which to me, reading a lot of our sort of forums and looking at what the fans are saying online, they're like, oh, where's he gonna play? Where's he gonna play? I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
You
Yeah.
you get a player like that in. It's like a City that $100 million player on the bench. That $100 million player that when they brought him in, he was barely playing. When you have that type of talent, you make it work. And to the point that I was alluding to earlier, make Odegaard uncomfortable. Make Rice uncomfortable. Right? I don't think he's gonna. I don't think Isaiah, if he came in, he's gonna push Rice out of his role because I think Rice is extremely vital and what he brings to the team. I don't think Isaiah can change that. But Odegaard, you can be replaced, man. Like you need to come up. No, I'm being serious. Like you're laughing, but I'm being dead serious. Like you can be replaced. You may be the captain of the team, but your role is a little bit easier to replace a creative player. And you haven't shown that. You had that one really amazing season and then you just dropped off. Yes, there was injuries. Yes, new father. Yes, all those things. But like I would love this signing. And I've talked about it before. I've talked about it during the season when Crystal Palace was going on a massive FA Cup run. Eberechi Eze is the reason why they won that FA Cup. He's the one who scored the game-winning goal. He's the one who scored the goal to get them to the final. So to me, if Berta is serious and he wants Eze and like for example like a Rodrigo and a Gyökeres, which it looks like we are going more for Gyökeres, I'll eat crow. Best window we've ever had. Is that going too far by saying that if we get those three?
Nope.
Yeah,
But for me, it
ever
sounds
had
like
like
Best window we've ever
no, no.
had.
Well, Laurent, honestly for Arsenal, it would be, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen personally because this isn't FIFA career mode, manager mode we're playing here. This is Arsenal we're talking about. All that sounds great on paper, but we have to temper our expectations. I feel like because again, Murdat, how many times has the club let us
Yeah.
down? I truly am gonna hold my excitement because I just don't believe right now until I see it that we're actually gonna get that. Imagine like a striker, a left winger, and Eze. That's all big money, mind you. Um, and on top of the other business that we're doing, right? Like we're not a club to splash the cash like that. That's gonna run us. Let's say I don't
200.
think any of those three, like a striker, left winger, and Eze is at least a minimum 60 mil each, right? So what's 60 times three already? That's
Two.
over
That's
150,
eight.
and then
It's 180 mil.
right plus 20 mil Mascara plus Zubimendi plus Kepas of the world and Nørgaards. Like we're not. I don't know. I don't see us doing all. I think we're gonna have a sacrificial lamb, aka somebody a big star currently in the club to go to fund um that type of transfer. And that's somebody like a Martinelli potentially who's been in the rumor mill. Al Nasser, I think it is Cristiano Ronaldo's club.
Yeah.
Um, that's Ronaldo's club, right? Al Nasser.
Yep.
Heard today that they would be willing to put in a big financial outlay on Martinelli, like upwards of 70 to 80 mil. which we talked about last week. The sentiment
Yeah.
side of things, I love Martinelli too, like the next person, but we're talking about business here. We're talking about football. I would take that. That's pure profit because we got Martinelli from fourth division Brazil for what, 4 or 5 million. So to get like 70 north of 70 mil for him, for somebody who, in my opinion, again, sentiment aside, I'm going to call it how it is. Somebody who is a mid-level left winger, in my opinion, at this moment in time. Like, um, yeah,
I would take
I
that.
would I would take that. I would take that, and then if that funds me a Rodrigo, an Eze, and that striker, then yeah, I'll take that all day long. To be honest with you, I just like I said, I don't know if it's going to happen, man. Personally, it's
Mhm.
just I don't see us doing
I
that.
think Berta, he's been in contract discussions with Trossard, and he's getting a little bit frustrated with the wage demand that Trossard has. So I do think, as much as Martinelli would bring us more funds, I do think Trossard would be the sacrificial lamb, which would probably bring in 15 to 20 mil max. The only thing that's working for us is that we would be able to spread out the payments and the fact that we made the most money this year from a lot of the clubs in the Premier League with how far we went in Champions League and all the other competitions. We do have money to play with because we didn't really do anything in January. So, we should have the funds there. And I think the difference that at least me personally, that the difference and the reason why I'm a little bit more optimistic is it's not a Edu. Berta isn't, he hasn't, like, he doesn't strike me as someone who's gonna devote his life to one club. He strikes me as someone who's gonna come in, be like, you know what, I'm gonna rub people whatever way I need to get the job done. And then I'll see how far it goes. If I want to stay here 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, I'll do what I gotta do. Um, that's what makes me a little bit more optimistic that we will do all three. Um,
Really? So hand on heart, you think that we'll do all three? Like, will you say today confidently that you think we'll get all three done?
I don't know. Okay, so I think Gyökeres and Eze, I think will 100% get done. I don't know with a Rodrigo because I don't even know. Like, it's still all like up in the air if Madrid want to sell him, if he wants to leave, like all that stuff. But if he wants to leave, I do believe that we would be the leading candidate, and I do think that they like Arsenal would go in with a serious bid. Yes, hand on heart.
Hmm. Well, for me, I don't even know if I can say that we're confidently going to get two out of the three, and maybe that's the pessimist in me, but I'm just keeping it a buck, man, because we've been here before, I've been here before, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, who knows? We may not even get Gyökeres or Sesko by the looks of things. We may get an alternative striker. It wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility for Arsenal to just do something we're not expecting after kind of setting our expectations so high. Just boom, go left field and do something out of the blue that no one was expecting. I would love for it to happen. The most realistic right now actually sounds like Eze out of the three. To be honest with you,
But hold
Eze,
up. So I have a question for you. So what if
mm,
so? Let's just say we get Eze, and it comes down to Rodrigo and Gyökeres, and then they decide to pull the trigger on Rodrigo because we need a left winger more. And then on the flip side, instead of getting a Gyökeres, they get Ollie Watkins for like 30 mil, 40 mil. Would you be happy with that? I know my answer.
I would have to take it. Yeah, I would have to take that. If it means Rodrigo, like for me, Rodrigo is a priority this window. Like, because we're not going to get a player of that quality. Like, I'd actually argue with you and say that a striker for us is more important than a left winger. However, there aren't the strikers of that caliber on the market for us to say they'll concretely come in and change the game for us. The only one that I would think would be like an
Who's
Alexander
that?
Isak,
Yeah.
who's not available. Well, at least not what we think.
Well,
Uh,
200 mil and he's available, but that 200 mil is three players for us.
Exactly. Whereas a Rodrigo, we need a striker more than a left winger, but the level of that Rodrigo is, his level could raise us more than Sesko or even what a Gyökeres will raise us. I think like Rodrigo is just that good. I think if there's somebody that we need to get done, I do think it's him because you can still, to your point, you can still play with a lower tier level striker like a Watkins or even a Kai Havertz. Dare I say, if you have Rodrigo, if you have the
And let's not
Rodrigo and a
forget,
Kai and a
we have
yeah.
Jesus. Sorry to cut you off, but we also have
Mm,
Jesus who's gonna come back. We also, if we end up keeping Martinelli,
mm,
keep a full rotation front three, Saka, Martinelli, Rodrigo, the amount of
mm.
havoc that's gonna cause. Because Rodrigo can't play center forward. He can play a false nine.
Yeah, with an Esco, sorry, with an Eze. I can't lie. I'm more and more now growing in belief and confidence in this Eze signing, and it's exciting me because I didn't see the vision at first and where he would fit in our team. But when I'm hearing now that we would want him along with the left winger and the striker, like he's not coming in as an alternative too, I'm more than happy with that because we don't have players like him. We don't have enough of those kind of game changing, saucy, flair, freestyle type players who can, just create magic out of nothing. And that's exactly what he is. We don't have a lot of those. We have a lot of system based
Mhm.
attackers and forwards. Eze
You saw what
is,
he did with Elise. What he
yeah,
did before Elise went to Bayern. Like
yeah,
that team was scary to face.
yeah,
And the rotations that they had, like imagine now that rotation with Rodrigo, or he flips on the other side of Odegaard's having a bad run of games. That rotation with Saka,
yeah.
and
No,
even
and
like with Havertz, imagine him like rotating with Havertz. Havertz coming into the midfield. Like I think Eze's huge.
yeah, we'd have so many possibilities with him coming in, and it's not about where's he fit in the starting 11. It's about the squad depth. It's about he'll push Odegaard when Odegaard is shaking it. He'll play on the left wing if we need him there. He'll play left 8 with Odegaard and say like Declan Rice number 6 holding. Let them do their thing. Be free up the top of the pitch. We have so many variations and combinations that I think he'll be such an X factor for us, and I think I'm fully on board with that. Um, I can ask you guys something real quick, like.
No.
Oh, honestly, this one, this one was more for Laurent, anyways. So, yeah, no, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah,
Let me proceed. Let me proceed. Let me land.
yeah.
This one is actually Laurent. If you want to answer this, I may be jumping the gun, Murdad, as well. But one thing that is pissing me off that I can see us doing when I talk about things that Arsenal we want to do, like expectation versus reality, is we'll be linked with an Eze, a Rodrigo, a Gyökeres. Reality, we'll get fucking Noni Madueke. Okay. Now there are fucking strong links.
He
I'm
is
sure that
linked to
we're
Arsenal, no?
we're all seeing these strong links
Mm.
with Madueke to Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano's reporting it. Some of the big journalists are reporting it, and I am now panicking, gentlemen. I am now in that space of, oh no, please don't do it. But they'll do it. I thought the same thing with Kai Havertz. I said surely they're not gonna do this, bro. We actually may fucking sign this guy,
On the left wing.
left wing, right wing, because we also really want a right wing backup as well for Saka. So they want to see him on the left, they want to see him on the right. But I have obvious problems with this. So Laurent, talk to me about your guy Madueke. Like, what's your thoughts on him? Do you rate him? Do you sanction that signing if we were to get him? Like, what are your thoughts on him?
Yo, that's
Because maybe I'm
crazy.
being jumping the gun again and being Mr. Pessimistic and whatever. What are your thoughts on the guy?
Which position? You saying right wing?
Oh, like I said, right wing, left wing, probably right wing, maybe
No,
because he'll
but
want to come in and play on the right.
okay, but now what's strange to me is if he's coming in there. I mean, our system has changed, right? But it's like you're gonna be a backup either way. Like I don't understand why you'd want
Make
to
that move.
move. Yeah, make that move if you're just gonna be really in the same position, right? Um, but overall, let's
Has
say
he
yeah,
played on the left for you guys? There's
yeah,
talks that he will play on the left for us as well. Has he played there for Chelsea?
I've seen him. Like I've probably seen him once or a few times this season. Yes, and I know that was when Neto like he tried like switching them
Hmm.
on the sides, but I will say this, and yeah, no, yeah, he actually was on the left in a recent game because I remember. So if you play him on the left, he's not comfortable with his right foot. I can tell you that much. Which means that he doesn't have that ability to kind of like
Yeah.
cut in, right? If he's on the left flank to kind of cut in and maneuver, right? Sometimes that's what you got to do, right? Given the situation where the defense is. Um, so right, he's more comfortable than on the right flank. And even there, um, man, I hate to say it, but it, he, I think he does lack a bit of creativity, right? It's more so he has the speed, he has that first step, uh, but sometimes also his decision making is not the best. And I fear that, right, if he were to go there, I don't think he'd be as efficient as you guys would want him to be.
Hmm.
That's my honest assessment. But you never know, man. You never know. Maybe this could be the move that allows him, to uh, stretch out his wings and begin to soar, right? Because sometimes that happens with players, right? And it happens to a lot of Chelsea players. They leave Chelsea and suddenly they become all these newfound players with these newfound abilities, bro. Like like Space Jam, where like they suddenly touch the basketball once again and like they know how to ball now. Like so, I don't know, man. But I think at the core, as a raw talent, he has talent.
Yeah.
The talent is there. Now it just becomes a matter of whether or not you guys think you'd be able to extract that talent to its full potential. And if yes, if he plays to like the ability that we've known, or like those hints of magics that you've
Hmm.
seen him, then he can be very dangerous. Yes, in my opinion. So it's like whether or not you guys, or it seems like someone on your side wants to take the chance with that, right? So yeah.
Murda, do you sanction that one? What's your thoughts?
Um, I mean, the only thing I will say is Chelsea does have a track record of ruining good talent. Um, Mikhail Mudryk is sad because he's just an idiot and took human growth hormone. But Noni Madueke, when he was at PSV Eindhoven, he was a star. We've spoken about Christopher Nkunku, till I was blue in the face. Um, Kai Havertz, when he first came over, like he was the raw talent at Leverkusen. Wesley Fofana, Levi Colwell, to a certain extent, Kepa. I would even say that to a certain extent. Although I think Kepa was meh. Um,
Timo Werner,
yeah, Timo Werner. Yeah.
man. Fernando
Um,
Torres, man. Like
yeah,
there's a
Torres.
whole
Fernando
bucket.
Torres.
Like
Torres.
yeah.
Neto, because I think Neto was like he was good at Wolves, right? Of course, he was injury prone, but he was good. He was able to hold his own. Um,
Didn't
and
Neto have a good season at Chelsea?
Yeah, I'd say decent,
yeah,
decent,
but
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 not
like he's
yeah.
not he. But it's not like the Neto that when like you face Wolves, you're like, oh shit, like we have to control Neto. And I know we made fun of this player the entire season, but Sterling, like I understand he's older, but that's the same Sterling that for City he was like banging goals. Yes, he got a little bit slower, but like the talent is still there, and he got ruined the first year or so there. Um, so do I think that we can hone in on the talent? Like he's still 23, he's still super super young. Um, My only difficulty with this one is he prefers the right wing, and
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff that I've been reading is that he's hesitant in joining Arsenal because he knows that he's going to be playing second fiddle
of
to
course.
Saka. Which my argument to him would be, okay, well, you saw how many injuries we had last year. We're going to be rotating a lot more this year, and there may be games, even in the Premier League, that we will not start Saka because we have a Champions League away against Madrid, or we have a Champions League game against Liverpool, or something like that. So you may be able to play on the weekend, right? To prevent those injuries. So I think that's the type of signing that Arsenal is going for. I still would prefer to save the funds of that and develop Wanyeri, in my opinion. Like my humble opinion, I genuinely would prefer to keep Wanyeri as his backup, rather than bring in a Noni Madueke. Um,
Bro,
if
there's
we
talks that sorry, continue.
No, no, no. I was just gonna wrap it up by saying like if we get a Noni Madueke and then we don't get like a Rodrigo and a like Gyökeres or Watkins or Sesko or something, I'll be pissed. I'll be
Okay.
pissed.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. I said if that is our winger signing,
Oh no, 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 no. Hell no.
fuming, bro, fuming if that's the case.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely not. And that's the only one we get. Like if we get an Eze, Madueke, and a Gyökeres, I'd be able to stomach it a little bit. But if we get like an Eze, Madueke, and like Watkins, I'd be I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind. Like the player does not like playing with his right foot. Keep Trossard in that case. Trossard can play with both feet. Of course he doesn't have the pace, but like, yeah, no. I don't even want to get into that. And there's another player that apparently we were linked to. Not gonna even say his name. The only thing you need to know is that he got a red card for cleating someone, like the most outrageous tackle of the FIFA Club World Cup after what, like 9 minutes playing, 10 minutes playing.
Oh, don't kill me.
Wait, say his name, bro, because the only one here watches the FIFA Club World Cup is Laurent. So I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh,
But
you
you don't?
do.
You actually don't?
No, I don't. I actually don't.
Oh, don't say his name, Laurent. Let me give you another hint. Um, this player was compared to the one and only Didier Drogba.
Oh, yeah. Man said, "I'm sorry, Miss Jackson."
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, yeah,
oh yeah, yeah. I did know about that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yo, I saw that link too, bro. I'm like, yo,
Yo,
what?
I honestly, and this is AFTV, we love you, hashtag not a sponsor. But sometimes, and I think you said it last pod or pod 2 pods ago, CJ. Like sometimes I feel like they throw out these like rumors just for the sake of content. Because I don't know how true the Nicholas Jackson rumor is, and like Morgan Rogers and like all these play. Like I know Morgan Rogers has been an Arsenal fan. Like Eze, he was at Arsenal Academy before he was released when he was a youth. So like sure, but like Nicholas Jackson, like
Bro,
why were you like
surely that one did that one for just clickbait,
oh
bro.
my
That one is.
God,
I don't.
no. Like if you were to tell me that we got like Eze, Rodrigo, and Jackson, that'd be a fail of a window. You can't end the window with signing Nicholas Jackson. The man has a worse shooting record than freaking what's it called? Darwin Nunez. Like, no, you're like anyway. Okay, we're just gonna move on from this because I'm gonna start getting angry.
I told you guys that Chelsea has Arsenal's news, bro.
Bro,
Telling you.
something, bro.
Like, what are we doing? The only Chelsea players I would take, respectfully, Laurent, the
No.
only Chelsea players I would take are Caicedo and Cole Palmer, and probably Neto as well. To be honest, I probably would take Neto.
You wouldn't
But
take
others,
Enzo?
who Enzo? Nah. Like I'm just comparing it to what we already have.
Oh, okay, okay,
You
okay.
know, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, somebody that gets in our team like right now could be a Caicedo. Uh,
Palmer.
Palmer could, yeah, he could push somebody like an Odegaard or something. And I do really like Pedro Neto. So, but other than that, man, yeah, it's funny. People were saying this the other day, Laurent. I don't know how you feel about this, but like, again, I'm talking about for the level of where Arsenal is right now. Um, there's players in Chelsea's side that are good, but none of them are, there are like really immediate like level raisers for like a Chelsea. Like how many of those will get into a City team, a Liverpool team, an Arsenal team, like teams that are contending for the top. And obviously that's where Chelsea's trying to get back to, right? I don't think you guys have those players at the moment, aside from the two that I just mentioned, so to speak, that
Well, I
are
mean,
that level.
on one end, those players are our players are quite young. I think we have one of the youngest squads. I do remember. Um, so on one end, I feel like we still have room for development for a lot
For
of these
sure. Yeah, yeah.
players. Yeah, yeah.
Just on
Yeah,
the
your
banter
team
side
is
of
young.
things,
Your average age of 23 years and 195 days, which
Yeah,
is 10th youngest in the Premier League.
yeah.
in terms of building like a team that's like I said, gonna compete with the cities and the Liverpools and like an Arsenals, because again, that's what Chelsea's looking at. They're looking at the top end of the table now and seeing, okay, like we're trying to get to the City, Arsenal, Liverpool level, contending for titles year in year out, sort of thing. Um, and so I keep seeing these jokes now about the players that you guys are actually signing now, and it's like Chelsea's assembled this £2 billion squad to be signing mid-table players, like like we saw the João Pedro one this week. We saw Delap. That's all banter, all jokes aside. These are good players in their own right individually, but I just
Mm.
found that quite funny. It's just like Chelsea obviously spends a lot of money, but not once upon a time where Chelsea was getting the best players in the world. Um, it's like now, yeah, like they're getting, I guess, the players from mid-level teams, the mid to low-level teams in the Premier League, and spending that kind of money on those kind of players. Which, like I said, outside of the banter, we're talking about young players who have room for improvement. João Pedro is actually a good player. Delap is a good player. They have room for growth and development. But
Yeah, I would take João Pedro.
would you like as our main striker or just like a competition?
If I would take Eze, Pedro, and a Rodrigo.
Mm.
I think
Yeah, that seems interesting, actually.
João Pedro. I think he's a better version of Gabriel Jesus.
Oh yeah, you think he's better?
Mhm. Yep, more physical. And I think he actually finishes. I think the biggest issue that we've all had with, well, not I say all three of us, but CJ, you and I have had is with Jesus is sometimes he doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't have that like killer instinct at times.
Does
And Pedro
does
does.
does does he? That's what I was gonna ask. Does João
Yeah,
Pedro have that?
yeah.
What's his best goal return in the Premier League?
If you give me a second, I'll fact check it.
In the interim, though, Laurent, like, yeah, I wonder how you think that that's gonna work out. Like, how you guys are gonna line up. Because to me, João Pedro doesn't strike me as an out and out like gunman number nine. Like he reminds me of more like kind of what Murdoch said, like Jesus, like a drop in striker, like a false nine, maybe a link up kind of player. He's not like a super killer in front of goal. And then obviously you guys just signed Delap, so it's like how do you make both work? Is one gonna have to come off the bench? You're gonna have to change the system.
I
Obviously,
think,
this is all
yeah.
dependent on Jackson going too, because there's no way you
Mhm.
guys are gonna be able to play all three.
Yeah, yeah, no. So I definitely feel like, yeah, and I'm assuming it's gonna. Well, if someone goes, it has to be Jackson, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh.
but in regards to the point, your point about his playing style versus the Labs, I actually I prefer that because now it adds a bit more variety to the attack. And what I've been noticing recently in regards to how our manager is lining up our team, Enzo, uh, he's more dynamic in terms of the system he's playing, taking players, putting them in different positions, using different combinations even in terms of how certain players play. Um, and yeah, so I feel like even with the lap, right? We definitely saw a change in the attacking combinations options versus when you have Jackson on there, right? And I feel like at some times too, because if you notice sometimes you're having a weird game, right, where certain things aren't working, now you can bring in a different striker, right, and it adds a different element that
Hmm.
the defense on the other end maybe is just not prepared for it, right, at that time, right? So I think it's good to have players in the same position, but that offer a different playing style, as opposed to if you have a like for like swap. Right? You see what I'm saying? Where
Hmm.
you, well, it's just the same, it's just probably the same guy. He just has fresher legs, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
uh,
His best record. Well, his records right for Watford, he played 109 games. He scored 24 goals, 8 assists. For Brighton, he played 70 games, 30 goals, 10 assists. Fluminense, 36 games, 10 goals, 2 assists. He's played 119 games as a center forward, 39 as a left winger, 20 as a second striker, 7 as a attacking midfielder. So he hasn't really played much from the right. So that's why I'm saying like if we got a João Pedro and a Rodrigo, I think it would like I would be happy with something like that, right? Obviously, we can't get him, but I think for Chelsea, I think it's a huge signing for them, because you can play him with a Delap, have Delap hold the ball up, and have those rotations with João Pedro. And I think
mm,
Pedro is a little bit better, and he's proven that he is pretty decent in front of the goal. Um, so again, for me, I think it's a great signing. I would have taken him, but you know,
I just wonder how there's room for all of them if they both start. Like, where does a Cole Palmer play, sort of thing, you know? Because if João Pedro's going to be the one playing off of the main striker, that's usually where Palmer will play, like in the
no,
number 10
on the
role.
left. I'm saying on the left. So like
Oh,
play like a Pedro, Delap, Palmer on the right, and let Palmer roam, and then Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia, something like that in the midfield. Um, or like a Giddens on the right, play Palmer in one of the eight positions with Enzo, Caicedo right behind them. Right.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
nice to have those options, yeah.
they're Chelsea squad like we're pushing like 40 mans. They have like seven keepers, which I don't want. Again, we can talk about this like till we're blue in the face, but like the FFP the FFP stuff, like I just don't understand how Chelsea's doing it. And Lauren has nothing to do with the fact that you're a Chelsea fan. It's just the honest truth.
mm.
Um, you're seeing all these other clubs being charged and all this happening, and then we're still waiting for the 115, and then Chelsea are still spending billions.
I
Something's
believe.
not adding up.
So I think I read something on that, but I think it's our contract terms
Hmm.
Yeah, because
that
you guys
allow
did
us to
8, 10
bypass.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
like you would think the Premier League would be like, oh, that's a loophole. Maybe we should stop it. But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, I understand that you guys are probably you're structuring the payments to the other clubs over the duration of the contract, but that also is a disadvantage, maybe not for bigger clubs like an Arsenal, like a Liverpool, like a City, but when you're looking at smaller clubs, um, like Villa, how are they so close to the FFP when they arguably one would say they had a more successful season? Yes, Chelsea won a trophy, but the amount of money that they won for the trophy also is equivalent to the amount that Aston Villa won in how far they progressed in Champions League. You see what I mean?
Mm.
Well, also remember Chelsea got Champions League football though, and Villa didn't. So that will.
Fair, fair. But that fund is coming for next year, not this year. It doesn't count for this calendar
Mm.
year. For this window, sorry. It counts for their next window because that's when the funds come in. But anyways, again, there's a lot of shady stuff. Um,
I'll say this much: Chelsea did well. They sell well, right? A
they
couple
do,
years
they do.
ago, the Saudis came in and saved them. If you remember, they took about like 3 4 players like Koulibaly and them all went in the same window to Saudi for big money, and that really saved Chelsea when they were in a lot of financial trouble. Hell, we did it that same window. We bought fucking Havertz for 65 m's, bro. So
Yeah.
they Chelsea tend to sell pretty well. So that does help. I'll tell you this much, Murdat. How nice does it feel if you're, a Chelsea fan? It's like linked with João Pedro on Monday, sign him by Wednesday. Videos up holding the shirt on
Videos
the
on the
beach,
beach doing
bro.
keep ups. I don't know if that
How,
was AI or the man was really there, but yeah,
how nice is that, Murdat? You fucking link
yeah.
to a player one day, 2 days later, he's holding up the shirt. It
Yeah.
would be fucking nice, wouldn't it? Holy,
Yeah.
you drag ours on for months.
Mm.
Last piece of news, which isn't 100% confirmed, but from the sounds of it, it is pretty much confirmed. Gabriel Hines, the defender that used to play for United, Madrid, and he played with Arteta at PSG. Looks like he's going to be joining the coaching staff to replace Carlos Cuesta. Um, New voice in the dressing room. I think it's going to be a good addition. Haven't really followed his coaching career. I'm not gonna even say that I know anything about his coaching style, but I do think that having a new voice in the dressing room is going to be good because since this regime came in, it's been the same voices. As much as I love Albert Stuyvenberg as well, I think it was last season or this season before he was rumored to go to PSV as the head coach. And part of me, while I didn't want to lose him, a part of me was like, okay, that wouldn't be actually super bad because Stuyvenberg and Arteta have been there since day one, and having again fresh meat, fresh voice might change things. So um, just just tossing that out there. It's not confirmed 100%, but if it is confirmed, we'll obviously chat about it. Um, Laurent, this is your moment.
Ah, let's go. Damn, we on our way. We're on our way. We're on our way, baby. We're on our way. Um, fuck, man, I'm excited. I don't know where to. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Palmeiras. See, look at that. Suddenly he's not paying attention, bro.
You're lucky. I was just
And
about to ask you who you were playing.
yeah, I knew that
Yo,
was
this
coming,
man
bro.
has the FIFA Club World Cup knockout stage right on his screen, so he's just staring at it. He's like,
Nah,
Palmeiras,
I actually
9
don't, bro.
p.m.
I actually don't.
Yo, name me one player on Palmeiras.
Like, like what, bro? Like, why would I care? I keep yeah.
Scouting
But
report, bro. Scouting report.
funny
Know what you're
enough,
going up against.
actually no, he's not. No, yeah, I couldn't tell you, bro. I was gonna see, but I no, he's on a different. Palmeiras is a Brazilian team, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, he's not on that team. I was gonna see our guy that. Yeah, but no, he's not on that team. He's on.
Man was gonna say Ronaldinho. Oh, he's retired? Oh shit.
Don't kill me. No, no, no. I was gonna say Thiago Silva, but he was
Hmm.
on that
Fluminense.
different. Yeah, Fluminense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so I couldn't tell you, bro. I couldn't tell you.
Well, Chelsea, as
Mm.
we all predicted, they're going to face Palmeiras in the left side of the bracket, and then Fluminense, who beat Inter. I don't know if you guys caught that game. I caught that game. Um, Inter just they look out of it. They look out of it.
Yeah.
They
Mm.
look hungover. They look like
Huh.
they look their age. You know what I mean? Like the players, they look their age, and it looks like their age is catching up to them. I mean, they're in for a huge rebuild. Um, the game that we all want to talk about, Al Hilal. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
what a game! I don't. Did you guys watch the highlights? Did you guys catch the game? Because I caught the entire game.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw the highlights. I didn't.
Yeah.
I saw. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think when I was watching, City were up, and I'm like, oh fuck, these guys have it. So, and then I had to do some, and then I come back after the game, and I see the score was like what 4-3 or something like that.
4-3, yeah. City opened it up, I believe, Silva, and then Marcos
Yeah.
Leonardo tied it in the 46th minute, and then Holland scored, and then Malcolm scored to make it 2-1
Mhm.
at Al Hilal. Holland tied it. They went to
Mhm.
extras. Koulibaly scored 94th minute, Phil
Hmm.
Foden 104th minute, and then Marcus Leonardo 112th minute. Like
Right.
it,
Crazy.
that was, and you could just see Pep's face. I wish, like,
Wait,
I
what
think
was it like?
he was just, he knew what was coming. You guys spent all this money, the 115, you spent like almost 500 mil since January, and you lose. Albeit Al Hilal have a very good squad,
They
but
do. They have some good players.
like you just spent 500 mil.
Wait, and Shirky and Marmoush weren't saying much?
Sharky had a good assist for Foden's
Yeah,
goal.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah. But
Yeah, I
still,
seen
like,
that. That was a class goal by Foden, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah, it was a really
yo,
good goal.
like, fuck. So our CJ and I's prediction is wrong, obviously.
Yeah, fuck you both, bro. Like the fuck? Yo, y'all are the
Yo,
nerve
why
of y'all, bro.
why the hostility, bro?
Nah, cause yeah, fuck all that, bro. Like, and then you guys are, try to chat up like, yeah, Chelsea's done. When City's in that bracket, bro, you guys could just, kiss goodnight.
I don't think that's what we said. We just said
No,
like we're not. No,
that's
we
how you
said,
guys were.
bro. You do recall that these podcasts are recorded, so we can all go back and listen to it. I think
Alright.
what CJ and I said is that when you see City on that side of the bracket, they are the favorite with the amount of money that they spent. They are the favorite.
Bro, all I know is a man like CJ had Chelsea coming out of that bracket till he realized that, oh shit, City's in that bracket. Went back, revised his whole prediction. This Loki, that was like such disrespect, bro. At that point, like at least save it for yourself, bro. Like, and just
Yeah, if
keep
your
us.
club, the only reason why you didn't predict City is because your club is in it. So obviously you have that bias there. But if your club wasn't in it, I have a feeling you predict
Hmm?
City to go further too. Come on.
Bro, nah, man, nah, 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 nah. Stop this, stop
Yo,
this,
that
stop
grin on your
this,
face says otherwise. So,
Yeah, like
stop,
um,
stop this, man, stop this. But
anyways, let's talk about some real games because Chelsea's trash, and I'm hoping Palmeiras.
wait, so when we win it, are we still trash? When we win the
Yes,
Club World
yes,
Cup, we're
yes.
still trash.
You're not
Mind
gonna
you,
win the
yo,
Club World Cup.
Foden was out here, yo. Players are out here, like dropping tears, eh? After the loss, eh? So this is a serious cup to these players, eh? I don't know if you've seen that, but like even Lauro Martinez, bro, fuming after that. I don't know if you heard his interview, right? The guy was giving it to Inter, right? So yo, guys are out there competing, by the way. So once we get past, like PSG, Bayern, whoever it is, bro, and we show you guys how to deal with these teams, then put some respect on that, man.
once we get past, he says, "Yo, clip
Yeah,
this. We gotta clip this one up."
bro, clip it, screen record, make a GIF out of it, bro.
Oh,
I
so you
don't
guys
give,
are winning. You're winning the whole thing.
bro, we're coming through, bro, and that jersey's coming on. So yes,
Oh, that's definitely
Holy.
getting clipped.
I might have
Yes,
to
you
watch
did.
tomorrow night's game just for this, bro.
yeah, 9 p.m., bro, 9 p.m., bro. Like
Yeah.
trust.
Let's talk about some real games. PSG faced Bayern. Probably the biggest matchup of all four quarterfinals.
Hmm.
Um, I have PSG going through. I really
Hmm.
don't see Bayern being able to do a job, in my opinion.
Really?
I I think it comes down to coaching, and I do have to give it to Enrique over a company.
That's
Um,
fair, actually.
Did they face each other in the Champions League? I feel like they
I
No,
don't
no.
think so.
no,
No.
not at all. Not even in the
Bayern was the opposite side of
no, but not even in the group.
the
In
group stage.
no.
I don't think so. I'll check. I don't believe so. Um,
Yo, I'll say this much, bro. Bayern is just one of those teams you just can't discount, bro. Like you know how like they call Ronaldo Mr. Champions League?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can honestly almost give the same tune to Bayern in terms of these big competitions where, yeah, maybe the coach is not the best. He's a new manager, right?
Oh, you
But
are right. Sorry. Sorry, Laurent. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
November 26, 2024. So it would have been group stages, match day five.
Hmm.
Bayern won 1-0. Dembele had a red card.
Mm. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I feel yeah, you
And it
could see.
was in Germany. Sorry. It was in Germany.
Mm. Yeah, no, bro, Bayern has a solid squad, man.
They do. They do.
Like,
I don't know. If I'm a betting man, I'm not gonna bet against
mm.
the Champions League champs.
When is Dembele even playing it, bro? I don't think I've seen.
He's
He
been on
doesn't
the
need to
bench.
play.
He's been
He
on
Huh?
the
doesn't need
bench.
to.
He's been on
Wait,
the
you think
bench.
he doesn't need to play?
No, he doesn't need to. You have Due, Barcola, Cavastilia, Gonzalo Ramos, and he can come off the bench for 20 minutes and do a job for them.
Jeez. Wait, so you're saying what? He's just gonna like show up on the Bayern game one like and
It will
pull
Yeah.
be
something out
interesting
of
to
his.
see. He will be interesting to see. He may start. He may have to start for that one. Now that they're getting to the business end of the competition,
Mm,
he might start. We'll see.
Um, and then Madrid faced Dortmund, which, barring anything crazy happening, I think Madrid have that locked down. Um, and for
Rodrigo
me,
hasn't been playing. Let's just get that in there.
yeah,
Rodrigo hasn't.
he hasn't played. He's played 20 minutes in all
Interesting.
competitions,
Interesting.
in all the games. And he's
what do you
been
guys think of the new formation, right? Because under
three
it's
four three.
yeah, it's well five in the back, right?
Yeah, it's like yeah, well he's playing wing backs. He's playing
Well,
Trent on one side and he's playing Garcia, I believe, on the other side, if I'm not mistaken.
mhm.
Eh, I don't think Trent should play there. I don't think Trent's a good wing back. I mean, it protects him because he has Rudiger behind him.
Yes,
I
yeah,
do
you're right.
think that it makes you get the best use out of Tchouaméni because I think he's sitting in front of Thibaut Courtois and he can dictate a little bit, a la David Luiz when he first came to Chelsea. And then when he was at PSG, when he was sitting in front of the keeper and he was able to dictate things, you're getting a tune out of Valverde, who's back in the midfield. Um, I do like obviously with Mbappe coming back, I do think that that right side is a little bit weaker defensively because on that right side you have Trent, Bellingham, and then you would have Mbappe. So I think defensively that side is going to get exposed. So it's going to put a lot of work that
Mm,
um, Bellingham, Rudiger, and even Valverde has to do to protect that side. The left side's going to be locked down with Huijsen, Fran Garcia, Arda Güler, and Vinny. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it. Um, but hey, I'm not the coach. I'm not getting millions, so he's definitely doing something right.
mm.
Um, before we wrap it up, we haven't done this in a while. Let's do some predictions. Two games. Um, just because I know CJ is gonna ask, there really isn't anything on the line, but try to keep it respectable. Um, one of the games which we obviously have to do for our fellow Chelsea fan, Chelsea Palmeiras, um, score line and name a goal scorer. Um, because I'm bringing this segment back, I will start. Um, I do think Chelsea win, but I think they win in PKs.
This guy.
Bro, you've never ever gotten a PK prediction. Like, I don't think it's even ever gone to like extra time when you.
Yes, yes, it has. Yes, it
Yes?
has.
Okay. Okay.
I'll say Chelsea 2-2, and I'm going to say, I'm going to say Cucurella to score.
Jeez.
Actually, you know what? You know what? I'll make it 3-2 full time. Chelsea and Cucurella to score.
Okay. All right, CJ, what say you?
Hmm. Yeah, I can see a high scoring game too. I think Chelsea will win. I think they'll do it in 90. Um, yeah, I think they'll do it in 90 minutes. Ooh, that could go to extra time though. Fuck.
No, it's never been to extra time, even though when you predicted it.
Yeah. No, I do though. I do. I don't think it's gonna go PKs like you're saying, but no, it could go extra time, man. Their last round went to extra time, and there's been a lot of games been going extra time. I've noticed so far. All right. I'm gonna say 3-2 as well, Chelsea. Um, goal scorer, one goal scorer. I'm gonna say Pedro Neto.
Huh?
Um, yeah, but it's three. I'm saying 3-2 probably. After extra time.
Huh? Laurent?
3-0, Chelsea.
Wow.
3-0.
3-0.
Wow.
We are not conceding.
Okay, who scores? Name one goal scorer out of the three.
Cole Palmer.
Okay.
I was gonna guess that one too. Yeah, Mr. Cole Palmer. Has he scored in the tournament so far?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Second game to predict. We'll go in reverse order. So Laurent, you start. PSG Bayern. Same
Bro,
rules apply.
yeah, I'm number one on the leaderboard, bro. I ain't starting.
What the
What
bro?
leaderboard? There is no leaderboard.
Yeah, there is. There
It's the
definitely
off
is.
season. It's the off season.
Where is there a leaderboard? What the
Hold on. So you're
fuck?
telling me the last prediction I had with yeah, what the hell did what I win for that, bro? Now I'm pulling a CJ, bro.
Oh
What
my lord.
Man,
no,
it's
no,
off
no.
season. What are you talking about?
Now we're doing this. We're doing this. Yo, that the because I think I got yeah, I got the score right and I got the goal
Who?
score. Portugal. There you go. It's the Portugal Spain game. Yeah. The one
Yeah,
where
but we said that there's no leaderboard. We said we're just doing it for fun.
that was just for fun.
Yeah,
Yes,
bro.
bro. Where have you been, bro? This guy doesn't pay attention.
What? Yo, that is wild, bro. That is conspiracy, bro.
How
Since
can-
when is since when do we do yo, bro? Even CJ was like, yo, I'm not like why are we doing this for fun? There has to be a prize, bro. CJ, these are your own words. Like
Yes, and
that's
so
uh-huh.
imagine that was regular season when I won the whole league. Now you're trying to get credit for off season, bro. Clearly, if I haven't even gotten credit for winning the league when it was in season, what makes you think you're gonna get any credit for an off season one game? Like, get out of here, bro. Well, wait till the new season starts for it to be real. This is a joke thing right now. Just make a prediction and keep it moving, man.
Yo, that is so whack, bro. Yo, these man's actually schemed, bro. I got
Fam, I didn't.
finesse.
I could say the
Yo,
same thing. I didn't get nothing from last season. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Don't even get me.
yo. All right. Yeah, should have known better to make deals with Strongmans, bro. But anyways,
Hey.
yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 Bayern.
2-1
Whoa,
Bayern. Wow.
Yeah,
whoa.
2-1 Bayern, and
Full
then Harry
time or extra time?
full time, yeah.
And who
Mm,
scores?
Harry Kane.
Harry.
Jeez, Harold.
Yeah.
All right, CJ.
2-1 PSG
Woo, baby.
Mm.
in 90 minutes.
Okay, who scores?
They're too good, man. I think they're too good.
Let me guess. You're gonna say Due.
No, actually. Um,
Kevin Scale, yeah.
Vitinha. Fabian Ruiz.
jeez.
Bruno
Yeah, you might
Mendes.
shit. Honestly, Hakimi is even a good option
Yo,
at this
Hakimi
point.
Yo, I
is
swear, bro.
killing
No,
it.
I swear that guy's a demon, bro. Um, goal scorer. Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Just
I'm
do
gonna
it, bro. Just do it
say.
for the fans. Donnarumma.
I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Fabian Ruiz.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
bro.
Fabian
Yeah.
Ruiz.
Yeah, he pops up with a goal every now and then. They get a lot of goals from midfield.
Hmm.
Hmm. I think it's gonna be a defensive game.
Yo, y'all sure taking your sweet time for something that is like doesn't
All
count
right,
for
I'm gonna
shit.
say 1-1 PSG on PK, and I'm gonna say Due to score. Because the last time they faced you, it's never been a high scoring game between them, and I don't think
Mm.
there's 3 goals in it. I think it's gonna be tight.
Oh, and so wait, so you're saying this is going to PK?
Yeah, this is going to PK.
Bro,
The other
why?
time, the other
What
one I
is up
said
with you and
Chelsea
penalty
full time.
shootouts, bro?
Bro, I make a
Mm,
little parlay.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game though. Not gonna lie.
yeah, this is gonna be good games. This is the part that I was actually waiting for because I think at this point is when the tournament starts to heat up, and I think it's gonna be good. Um, but yeah, um, I guess the final words on this pod, and again, episode 30. We're getting up there now. So we appreciate every single one of you tuning in as always. This one a little bit heavier than other pods for obvious reasons. Um, just want to say it again, rest in peace, Diogo Jota and his brother, which I should should have searched up his name. Um, I'll do that quickly right now. André Silva is his brother. Um, he was a professional player too for the
Hmm.
Portuguese. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, rest in peace. Devastating news. He was 25. Oh my God, that's I wish I didn't search it up. Ugh. Um, the final words, I kind of want to leave it at this, if you guys don't mind. Um, after you listen to this pod, go hug your loved one, whether it's your girlfriend, um, boyfriend, whether it's your mom, dad, whoever. Um, because, you know, tomorrow's not a promise. And too soon,
Mm.
20 years old. Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, I second that.
So again, as always, appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Peace, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.